Let's see this question. The ratio of number of students joining in 3 institutes X, Y and Z is 5:4:6. If the number of students joining in these institutes increased by 20%, 25% and 25% respectively, then what is the new ratio? So they are asking that there are 3 ratios and then these 3 ratios are incremented by, ratios are given. One thing is this. So you have to understand one thing. 5:4:6 is the ratios of students joining in 3 institutes. But then what they are saying is, if the actual values, right, the number of students joining the institute are increased by, so it is not that the ratios are increased, the values are increased, right? Then they are asking us what would be the new ratio, right? So before solving it, let me solve a different question. Now assume that there are 3 ratios, or let's say 2 ratios. There are 2 items in the ratio A:B. Okay, and now say the item with A parts, the actual value of it is increased by X%, and the actual value of this one is incremented by Y%. See, whenever I have the ratios, these are not the actual values, right? How to get the actual values? Once the total amount is given, then you are going to get the actual value as A by A plus B into total amount. That is the actual value of A, right? Actual value that this the person with A share is going to get. And what about B? B by A plus B into total value. So these are the actual values, these are the ratios, right? Now you can assume that this total value divided by A plus B is some n. Okay, so now what I mean to say is, so what is incremented is not A and B, what is incremented is the actual values of A and B. Let me assume that if they are in the ratio of A:B, the actual values are AN and BN. So where AN could be this one, right? Okay, now they are saying that this value is incremented by X% and this value is incremented by Y%. Then what would be the new values? New values would be AN plus this value is incremented by X%, AN into X by 100, right? It is nothing but incrementing this value by X%. And what about the other one? BN plus this value is incremented by Y%, BN into Y by 100. Now these are the new values. These are the old values and these are the new values. Now you are supposed to find out what the new ratio is. Now if you try to find out the new ratio, I have to apply the ratio between these two, right? Since it is a ratio and n is common in both of them, I can cancel out n. Now if you observe it, the new ratio is A plus A into X by 100 is to B plus B into Y by 100. So what did you observe? By incrementing the values by X% and Y%, the ratio also got incremented by X% and Y%, which means if I take the ratio directly and increment it, that is as good as incrementing the values and finding out the ratios. So you can apply the concept here. Now they are saying that this one, the actual value is incremented by 20%, and the actual value here is incremented by 25%, and the actual value here is incremented by 25%, right? But even though the actual values are incremented, you need not find out the actual value and increment them and then find the ratio. You can directly apply the increments to the ratio and you can get the answer here. Why? Because this is the proof. By incrementing the values and incrementing the ratios by the same percent is same, right? So what do you get here? 5. I am just incrementing the ratios itself. 5 plus 5 into 20 by 100, which means I have incremented this value by 20% is to 4 plus 4 into 25 by 100. I am incrementing this value with 25% is to 6 plus 6 into 25 by 100. Now if we see the ratio, it is going to be 12:10:15. The final ratio is 12:10:15, right? Okay, now if you observe this, okay, one more interesting point is, let's say instead of incrementing them by X and Y different percentages, if you increment it by same percent, which means if you increment it by X% and X%, let's see what happens to the ratio. So instead of X, here instead of Y, if you increment it by X only, then you are going to get X here, right? Now if you observe this, it is going to be a into 1 plus x by 100 is to b into 1 plus x by 100. Now you can cancel out 1 plus x by 100 and 1 plus x by 100. So what do you get? A is to b. So what did you learn from this? Whenever you increment the values of some ratios by x and x%, the final ratio of the new values is also going to be in the original ratio only, right? So whenever you increment the values by same percent, the final ratios of those values and the initial ratios will be same, right? Now you can clearly observe it here. See, this part is incremented by 25 and this part is also incremented by 25%, and if you observe the final answer, this initially these two are in the ratio of 2:3, isn't it? 4:6 means 2:3. Here also they are in the ratio of 2:3. Only thing that changed is this part, because it has been incremented differently. Got it? Okay.
Hi, if you are planning to do masters, then doing masters abroad is better than doing masters in India. I'll give you all the reasons. So, first reason is, out of 1 lakh students who take GATE every year, there are only 500 seats in old IITs. So all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%, and universities better than IITs, they have very good acceptance rate like 30%, 40%, but all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%. And if you are working hard to get into IIT Bombay's ranking is 177 and IIT Roorkee's ranking is 400. If you are happy to get into IIT Roorkee, then getting into universities better than IIT Roorkee is easier compared to getting into IIT Roorkee. And looking at the salaries for computer science, for software jobs, if you have done your masters in computer science in US, the salaries are ranging from 80 lakhs per year to 1.2 crore per year. So even if you take an average of 1 crore per year, your savings will be much higher than the salaries in India. After taxes and your cost of living, you can easily save 40 to 50 lakhs per year. And in India, the maximum jobs that you get is around 30 lakhs. So your savings will be much greater than the salaries in India. And these are all the services that we provide. University shortlisting. So depending on your profile, we will shortlist what are the universities that you have to apply, and statement of purpose building, and then LOR guidance, and GRE and English test assistance, and education loan assistance. So you don't have to have any collateral, which means without any security, now you can get education loan. Getting education loan is very simple these days, and whatever the amount of fee that you have a range of universities. You can apply for 10 lakh universities, 20 lakh universities, or 50 lakh universities. But whatever it is, you are going to get complete education loan, and you can pay off your education loan in 1 year after you get a job. And then we do visa assistance, mock visa interviews, and then connecting with the university alumni. So now you might ask why we should join Game of Visas. So the answer is we have 90% success rate, 99% success rate. And these are all the destinations that we guide the students to. So we guide students to any country that you want to go. So now it is not just USA. We guide to UK, Germany, Australia, Canada. So we guide students to all the countries. We work with all the destinations. And if you are interested in going abroad, you have to just drop us a message on this WhatsApp number 9494 555 454. Okay, thank you.